One thing that has been misconstrued lately in all of the plethora of reviews and even comments, sentiments, and even contributions on Elden Ring and the way the game plays is that the game lacks innovation. In fact, some people have even compared this game to every other open world game out there that has basically gotten flack for being generic. Some have even compared it to Ubisoft's Assassin's Creed games or Rockstar's GTA games and have said they don't want to hear anything from anyone who would ever say that Ubisoft is not innovative when they're saying Elden Ring is innovative. Now, here's the thing about reviews. Reviews are opinions of individuals that work in organizations that review these games. And so at the end of the day, you're only using it to make part of your informed decision, because not only are there reviews, there are gameplay playthroughs, there are all kinds of different content pieces that any individual can use to form a decision. For me, I didn't even buy Elden Ring immediately it released. In fact, I got it like a few hours afterwards. I played for 20 minutes, I deleted the game, and I refunded it back to Steam and went back to doing more research. And I'm supposed to be someone who's actually giving people tips and saying, hey, should you buy this game, or this is how this game plays? I try to answer that question to the best of my own ability, but it may not be sufficient even for you who might be listening to this particular video. Now, I made the commitment. I bought the game on 2 platforms because of certain things that I liked, the way the developers have in many cases treated their fan base and their audience, and have committed to making the game that they want to make because they are more concerned about their hardcore audience for the most part. And I'm not saying that this is 100% like their other Souls games, because I know there are people who are more purist about games like Bloodborne and Dark Souls. Now, the concession though in Elden Ring is that they've made it an open world game where the player can actually circle around, get stronger, and then jump back into the core parts of the game, having leveled up, powered up, and actually become a lot more useful to make the game easy. Hence, they're still doing hard work of getting items, of facing the challenges and the gruesome nature of the open world before they come back to their major objectives within the game. So I think it's still a very good way to even and balance things out. Nonetheless, it does not, in a sense, really negate all of the different challenges that the game can throw your way. You might be strong all you want, but a small random NPC will one-tap you and show you how the way this game works. Now, in thinking about this sentiment and talking about the innovative aspect, my understanding so far from the creators of this game is that Elden Ring is actually an evolution, a natural evolution of the Souls games. You see, the innovation has been construed. It was actually an evolution, but many in the review segment started saying this is an innovative game, this is amazing, but that's just their opinion. The developers themselves actually stated that this was a natural evolution. They're taking the game and making it big. This is what the game is evolving into in their minds. Their creation is growing this direction. Now, if you think I'm making this stuff up, let's hear the words of one of the creators or developers that worked with this game. So listen.
で、せっかくの機会なので、ユーザーの皆さん、コミュニティの皆さんにご挨拶をさせていただきます。エルデンリングっていうタイトルは、ダークソウルシリーズの王道進化タイトルとして、もっともっとスケールのある世界、スケールのあるゲームにしようということで始まったタイトルです。で、我々がこれまで作ってきたダークソウルシリーズはもちろんですが、それ以外のタイトルも含めて、これまでの開発経験、ノウハウ、
Now, I do not understand more than 2 words in the entire Japanese vocabulary, or at least I would say in the much more common dialect. But with the translations, you can see that this is exactly what was meant by this particular gentleman that was speaking on the game. So where the reviewers got innovation from, I have no idea. I guess they just wanted to go ahead and make their reviews sound fluffy and beautiful and delicious and just talk or whatever it is. This is why many times you really want to be following the developers. You really want to be listening to them and watching the things that they're saying. And so this is basically where the game has gone. Now, let me see if I can see, a side of balancing this particular conversation before I log out. And that is the side where people are saying the animations are the same old bosses, and everything just feels the same. There's nothing new here. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the truth in gaming. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Call of Duty, this is a big reference, was the highest selling game of the year, Vanguard, and it came out in November. Basically a return of another Call of Duty that they've made. Similar animations, similar gameplay mechanics. Maybe they changed some of the sounds of the weapons or muffled them in a sound design software or sound production software or whatever it is, but it's pretty much the same game. I guarantee you that there are reused assets that showed up in the new Vanguard game and will still show up in another Call of Duty game, even though Activision has seemingly been acquired. This is how gaming works. And for those who even are saying this, Horizon Zero Dawn used a lot of similar animations and has been criticized for the same thing. And even people like me have come out to say that is a useless criticism. It makes no sense because the original animations were made for that game or were made because of that game. And so has the Dark Souls game been. The animations that you might be seeing or even saying are similar were made by From Software's animators. So if they were good animations, then they are good animations and they can continue to be used for the next 10 to 500 games if they please, because that's how these things work. They've paid all of that money to a very, very talented and skilled person to do these animations, and so they're going to go ahead and use them. This is just the way these things work. I don't see any reason why this should not be, in my opinion anyways, used, because this is done across the board in different studios and different publishers when they're making their games in order for them to, quickly prototype. And especially the fact that Elden Ring was going to be an open world game with a lot of huge aspects to it. It made a lot of sense for them to go that route. If I had a game development studio, if you had a game development studio, you will most likely do the same thing because it just makes sense to use things that really do work, things that are appreciated and loved by community members, and bring it back to another game. Because you do not want to necessarily change the format of a game when people kind of already like it and in a sense have adapted and are used to it. So what they've done is they've merged some of the Sekiro aspects, which, Sekiro gave them a different evolution of the game. So their games kind of moved from the Dark Souls and then they moved to a much more narrative driven, interesting concept with Sekiro. And now they've just gone Breath of the Wild for grown-ups with Elden Ring or whatever it is. And to me, I just feel like they're changing their, game formats little by little, or at least adding to them. And this is what you're seeing. So if anybody must have said something like, oh, innovative or whatever, that's that person's opinion. The developers themselves never really said that they wanted to innovate, or I haven't heard any of the developers or creators say that. I think they want to keep their game at a core and then add some elements that really make it somewhat unique in today's day and make it fresh, but still keeping a lot of the old core concepts. And I think a lot of the old fans still enjoy Elden Ring. Now, some have said, it's probably much easier, but it doesn't really take away the fact that you can still make the game challenging for yourself. You can come out straight with the Reg character and run your way straight to taking out the boss if you want. And you can still do that. You can still make the game as grueling as you want, or you can make it as streamlined as you want. So these are my opinions. I just wanted to share them. Thank you very much for listening to the video, and we'll talk soon. Peace out.